Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Foliage. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So guys, today we'll be talking about a very beautiful foliage plant called as Alocasia green shield. Now guys, Alocasia green shield are native to tropical and subtropical regions, which means that they prefer a lot of humidity. Now talking about the temperature, they are extremely sensitive to cold. They prefer warmer climates which are between 20 degrees to 30 degrees Celsius. But most of them can even tolerate slightly higher temperatures. Talking about the pot size, alocasias are used to sharing their small areas with many other plants. Basically, these plants are found near lakes or basically like swamps or marshy lands wherein they tend to share their space with a lot of other species and varieties of plants. So if you can give them a pot which is like 5 inches in size is absolutely fine because they prefer to be root bound and tightly fitted in small pots. So when it comes to light, I would advise you can give them filtered light or you can give them indirect bright light or dappled sunlight, but please do not expose them to direct afternoon sunlight or else the leaves will get burnt. There will be a lot of burn marks on the leaves. Now, as I said, because they belong to the tropicals, they require high humidity in order to be happy and are very extremely sensitive to cold because they are kind of plants that tend to grow in slightly warmer conditions. So you need to keep that in mind. The soil for Alocasia green shield should be porous, loose, well draining, should maintain slight moisture in the soil and should be organic rich. As I said, they belong to the tropical environment. Their natural habitat, they tend to grow very closer to the lakes and swamps, so there has to be slight moisture in the soil. But again guys, do not keep the soil soggy wet, otherwise there could be root rot. Now, as I said that they belong to the tropical environment, so definitely they require a high humidity. But again, over the period of time, most of these plants have got adapted and they do well in average humidity as well. But if you belong to a place wherein your humidity is less than 40%, then definitely you have to work with the humidity. You'll either have to get a humidifier or you'll have to group a lot of plants together because they require a lot of humidity in order to remain happy. Otherwise, you will end up with a lot of brown spots and brown edges if there is low humidity in your place where you have planted your Alocasia green shield. Now talking about dormancy, just like other alocasias, Alocasia green shield also tends to go dormant during the winters. So during this period of time, reduce your watering. You need to maintain very slight moisture in the soil, but do not do overwatering. Like if you were watering every 3 days or 4 days during the summer period, now during the winter period you'll need to cut down probably once a week. You need to reduce the watering because it tends to go dormant. Now when I'm saying dormant, again this depends from city to city. In some places where there is extreme winters, you might notice that your alocasias tend to put out a lot of yellow leaves, but you do not need to be worried. When the temperature gets warmer, it will start growing back. But in my city, I do not experience extreme temperatures. I do not experience extreme winters. So I have never seen yellow leaves on my alocasias unless it's just 1 or 2 which tend to die due to aging. Talking about propagation is very simple. You can either do it by plant division or by separating the rhizomes. Now guys, the best time to propagate your Alocasia green shield is during the growing period, which is during the summer season. So that is the best time when you can do it. And it usually tends to grow quite fast with either plant division or by separating the rhizomes. Talking about fertilizers or adding nutrients, as I said, they prefer organic rich soil. So you can give them feeding during the growing period, which is the summer season. And during the monsoon season, you can give them ample amount of rainwater. But completely avoid adding any nutrients or feeding them any fertilizers during the winter period because that period is when they are dormant. So you can probably give them any liquid based fertilizer. You can give them compost tea or you can give them compost or you can even give them seaweed fertilizer. But always remember, dilute it in water and do not over fertilize your plants. Now these plants are very susceptible to pests, especially spider mites, so you always have to do a routine check. Always turn the leaves and check the underneath because that's where all these spider mites tend to hide. Now all of the Alocasia varieties are often affected with spider mites, mostly compared to aphids or mealybugs, but spider mites are the ones that often tend to attack these plants because they prefer this very humid environment and slightly moist soil. So spider mites are the ones that attack these plants quite often. So do a proper check if you notice that there is infestation, and if the leaf is infected a lot, then you can cut off the leaf, or if there are only few of the spider mites, then you can use any organic spray that you have been using. So the last question, is this plant toxic? Yes, Alocasia green shield is toxic just like other Alocasia. So ensure that you keep this plant away from small children and pets, because if the leaves are ingested, it is toxic to humans as well as animals. So ensure that you keep this pot or this plant away from the reach of small children and pets. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.